Okay, I've been watching your videos, Warren, and I wanted to give a response to this one, where this latest, as far as this moment when I'm starting this, I try to explain why I think Bush and Blair are evil. I'll give you right off from the title. Got to be beyond good and evil, but I probably get you, what you mean by that. But we'll see. Right on about the David Kelly thing. Pretty bad stuff, and plagiarizing off of that student. That's classic. Come on, that's some classic politics. I mean, you'd be surprised how low it can get sometimes. I mean, you'd think that they could like plagiarize better. Desensitize methodology to yourself. I love that phrase. Yeah, it's true. You have to be somewhat detached and sociological and anthropological. I feel the same way. I used to feel as well that everybody should vote. I still do feel that way, but I also realize that they're not interested for a reason. It's made tedious. Only a hobbyist, somebody that gets an extra pleasure out of this, or not pleasure, somebody who just feels that desire to fix these problems, someone driven, basically. I myself have to cop to the version of the reason that it's entertaining. I love to think that I'm doing my bit for the world, but frankly, I think the best thing you can do on the internet is educate yourself, is learn things for yourself, and that helps everybody else because basically, it's better to live among people that are educated, especially people that are drawn to self-educate. Okay, one thing I want to definitely answer you back on this, respond to you on this, is this idea that you need a McCarthy era that would target people that really need to be targeted. It doesn't work that way, you know. The despicable people that you are worried about, they are the McCarthys. You cannot fight fire with fire. There is no firefighting organization on this planet which actually fights fire with fire. You have to fight it with water or some fire retarding thing. And so it's the same kind of way with, with witch hunting, anti-communist crusades, and this kind of thing does not work. It promotes the system of doing that kind of thing, and there's always a quest then for a new crusade to follow. And so uh, this is the catch-22. I'm not just picking a nit here, because you're right. You need to get rid of those kinds of the power tripping. The question is, how do you do that? The only answer so far in the history of politics that I know is that you need to have a system which promotes a kind of working together on your national infrastructure and constructing things, together, because really it's the system that is going to promote certain kinds of human characteristic. And it's not that it makes those characteristics. The characteristics are out there in the people. But the system is sort of sorting the people. And it promotes certain kinds of people and it depresses other kinds of people. And so it can be tuned. And why should the system tune out this despotic bastardism if it needs that to survive so far? And so that becomes the fundamental question of why does it need that to survive, or does it need it to survive? It's certainly used it to survive so far. And I believe we can have a world without war. As a matter of fact, I'm certain, I feel totally certain that we can have a world without war. Less certain that we ever will have one, but fairly sure of that as well. Eventually, to me, the question is timescales. Can we get this, please, in 100 years? That would be nice. 200 still would be nice. 1,000 would start to be a bit sad, but better than nothing. the fundamental questions, are kind of these catch-22s. Okay, now on this interesting point that you said nobody should fucking deny that that Saddam was a peaceful force. Well, I'm going to translate that because I don't think you want to call Saddam a peaceful force. He waged war against Iran. He's not a peaceful force. However, what you're getting at is he was a neutralizing force, let's say, in the Middle East, because he was running things pretty secularly, at least until the first Gulf War. So he was a neutralizing force. And you're right, in a geopolitical sense, now we are faced with that issue. It's not really, oh, you broke it, you have to fix it. For the Iraqi people, from the point of view of international politics of Europe and the U.S. Involvement in Iraq, it's more a matter of the whole region is broken, and we are tied to that region as fundamental to the Western economy and culture. We are tied to that region right now in this part of history, especially. So, so it's all connected, and it was a neutralizing force. You're right. Well, at least I agree. If you're right, I think you're right. Okay, so for a summary, not that I went over everything, not a summary, but an ending. I think one thing is that there is progress. We have progress in history. And in terms of the, Bush and Blair being the most evil, not really, but I'm not a fair judge because I don't believe in evil. And so if you're just roughly speaking the most evil, probably still not, but it's beside the point, actually. The issue with history is not about evil. It's about the system. And frankly, a lot of the power lies now in the hands of the people. Not only is it unused, but unfortunately it's used to perpetuate a system that the people are used to. Elements of it, at least. Some elements of what they're used to are eroding away. Elements from the feudalism of the past, they're eroding away. But some elements are going to remain from that structure. There's a skeleton there. For example, hierarchies and also group dynamics. Some of that is going to stay for some people and even be accentuated. We need to see our system formulated better. Your criticisms about national health care, I totally agree with you. We're way behind the times in the U.S. and we don't know it. I think it's actually, I always have felt it's a fairly good attitude that, you should learn how to enjoy life, even if you do get to the point where you recognize that society's going to hell in a handbasket. The truth is, it's not really going to hell in a handbasket. That is the irony. But only because people do